Hi everybody, I'm Gene Simmons, and today I'm the face of America. My mother had a very bad early life, and it wasn't until she came to America with her small son, me, that things started to get better. My mother was in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany when she was 14 years of age. And so we had nothing in Israel, and one day a care package showed up. CARE was something the United Nations started, and they were boxes, just cardboard boxes filled with secondhand clothing, canned goods, things like that, things that people didn't care about. But to us, and to me in Israel, I saw my first can of peaches. I didn't even know what a peach was, and I never saw canned goods. And my mother had to take a rock and open up the can. We didn't even have a can opener. And I remember tasting that first, my mother gave me the can. I remember tasting the first taste of the sweet nectar of peaches, and I never tasted anything like that. And that's been my problem ever since. Now I love sweet things. But it was the idea that somebody took the time and was kind enough to send a box of things for free, anonymously, without ego or anything, just because somebody else needed it. And since then, I've been quietly trying to give back. We're involved in lots of charities, and you try to do good when you can. Africa, Asia, South America, and of course here, because there's so much need. It is true that never in the history of Earth have so many people have access to water and food. That's true. But at the same time, there's over 1 billion people on Earth that go to bed hungry and without safety. And a mother should never have to worry about feeding her child or whether her child is going to be safe. So we all have to do it. It's not about me. We all have to do more. There is no real America. America is the microcosm of Earth. Everybody is from someplace else. But when I first came to America, I was awed by the size of it. They call it the land of plenty. The people were big, the buildings were big, the sandwiches were huge, everything was big. I just couldn't understand it. I come from Israel, and in the late 50s, there was nothing there. There were no roads, no infrastructure, nothing. It was a new country after all. When I came to America, I saw my first television set, which I'd never seen in my life. I saw jets and skyscrapers, and everybody in America had cars. Everybody. I never saw that. And they had supermarkets, and I'd never seen that. You walk down and there were boulevards and streets of food, and the food and everything was taller than the people. So once somebody turned into a boulevard or a street, they disappeared, and all you saw was food. More food, it seemed to me, that could feed cities. It still amazes me. Every once in a while I go into a supermarket, I'm just awed by the size of it. Maybe the thing about America is just the astonishing size of it. Well, I never planned on being in a band, or I never planned on doing all the other things I'm doing now. You just sort of do it. You go down into a highway and you take exits and you wind up in new places, and then you're astonished by what happens to you. And actually, in English they say life is what happens to you while you're busy making your plans. But I wouldn't place too much importance on anybody who's in a band. Remember, we can't read music. We can't read or write music. We just do something that appeals to people. So I'm always fascinated that people, financial people, politicians, other people such as yourself, want to know what I think about politics or life or business or other things, it's amazing to me because most of the time there are many, many more qualified people who should be talking about it, but we're not interested in them because they're not interesting. So I'm well aware that when I say something, it could be very influential, but I try not to do that, not to take advantage of that, and I try not to tell anybody to vote Republican or Democrat or liberal or conservative. That's not my job. And I don't believe anybody who says there's only one way. There are many ways. There are many ways of reaching the top of the mountain. 27, the Legend and Mythology of the 27 Club, is the first release on Simmons Books. And they're basically profiles of people you all know. Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, all these famous people who died at the tragic age of 27 years old, even though they were rich and famous. So this is going to appeal to people just because of the pop culture notion of it, is the mystery, and they're famous and it's exciting reading, but there's a bigger idea. And the bigger idea is that life is hard, and there are a lot of people, something like 1 in 5 people have problems with self-esteem or depression, or people are not mostly happy. And the ones that go to the darkness and are in a room by themselves can do all sorts of bad things. And the worst thing that can happen is hurting yourself. So I hope what can come out of this is people buy the book and read about the sad stories about these famous people that even with money kill themselves or die, not just because of drugs and alcohol, depression or suicide, all kinds of things. But it's right next door to you. Your own family member, your own child, your own mother or father or sister or brother, your next door neighbor can be suffering from something that can be helped even if you just start talking to them. So there are suicide prevention hotlines where you can pick up the phone and just talk, just call somebody and just talk. And all of us should be much more available to just listen, because not everybody's happy, and even by listening you can be helping somebody, maybe even save their lives. Gene Simmons Moneybag.com. And the basic idea behind Gene Simmons Moneybag is high-end sodas, the champagne of sodas. We use natural ingredients, we stay away from preservatives and things like that, but basically we don't use processed sugar. It's cane sugar. What you should do is to go to GeneSimmonsMoneybag.com and order cases of this stuff. It'll come directly to you, and you can have your party and do all that. But they're really cool looking bottles. Everything about this is more like champagne. You got to remember, champagne is just alcohol. It's booze. But if you treat it a certain way, it's got class. This is the classiest soda I've ever seen, and tastes better than anything I've ever had. You know what? Life is short. If you're busy and you have a busy mind, you can eat good, sleep good, make good love, and then you have no problem sleeping. The people who have problems sleeping, and I'm not a doctor, don't have full lives or full days. The people that go to sleep easily are exhausted at the end of the day. And that's what I want to do. I want to work hard every day, and so that when your head hits the pillow, you go right to sleep, no problem. I've heard lots of rumors about KISS. We've been around 45 years. We have many, many gold records, more than any other group in America, actually, ever, in all categories. But that's not where the big story is. The big story is live. You've got to be able to get up there, no matter your history, no matter yesterday, today, or tomorrow, and right there, right now, put on a show that rocks and shakes the heavens. I've heard rumors that there's going to be a big worldwide tour starting 2019, but you never know. Sounds like a rumor, but it might be true.